On the tube, there's an emergency at Green Park.
This way, please, leave the station.
Police are called to the district line and strike tensions mount.
If they're coming in tomorrow when I'm on strike, they're not going home early enough.
It's summer 2002, and London Underground faces an uncertain future. But whatever the politicians may decide, the staff still have to keep the service running.
Chris, have you got a set of keys then? If you have, come back to the Northern Gate line. I thought I had 2 on there.
Station supervisor Brian Valentine has been with the company for 28 years, the last 12 at London Bridge, and he's having a tough start to the week. To make matters worse, there's a strike threatened, and it's due to start tomorrow night.
7:45. Peak times. And I'm stressed out. I'm short of escalators and I'm short of ticket office equipment. Coming out for a walk. Should have plenty of staff out. Where's the rest of your staff? I put 3 members of staff out here. Supervisor to the staff I put on the Northern Gate line, where are you?
It's Monday morning rush hour, and the lower escalator to the Jubilee line grinds to a halt. It might be a minor incident, but it doesn't take much for the crowds to build up.
All right, you'll have to walk down.
Somebody hit the emergency stop button at the bottom. Maybe somebody mucking about, maybe an accident. And that's because we got 1 escalator missing. How long's that been there? 1 minute? And that's the result.
In 36 hours, the threatened strike could bring the whole network to a standstill.
I should be out on strike. I voted for a strike, and that's what I should be doing. If management start talking, then we'll call strikes off. If they're willing to go to arbitration, they'll also be called off. But at the moment, nobody's talking to anybody.
"25-year-old Steve Bennett has been working as a station assistant at Victoria for the last 2 years.
I mean, if you speak to anyone in a quiet station and they say, oh, where do you work? I say, oh, Victoria, and they say, oh, they're all like, oh, wouldn't work there, God, you know what I mean? And they all say, oh, it's a nightmare there, absolute nightmare. But I think the staff here feed off it. I mean, they love it, really. They do. They moan about it, but they love it, really.
Just over a day to go, and there's no sign the strike will be called off.
Tube strike tomorrow.
So there are no tubes?
There's no tubes tomorrow, no, on any line, so that gives you all the information there.
Thank you.
You can't travel on the Underground tomorrow because there is a strike. Thank you.
Steve's not a political animal, and he's decided to come in tomorrow.
So one of the reasons why I'm doing this job is for, like, stability in my life and just, like, being somewhere on time and, like, because otherwise I'll be out nightclubbing every night or something. So, no, it's just for me, it's like, I'm going to come in. I need the discipline.
It's the second strike in 2 months, and tempers are already beginning to fray.
Hello.
I've been waiting in that queue for half an hour.
Right. I've got 1 ticket office open out of 2, and out of the 4 windows, 2 of them are open because 2 of the others are defective.
Is it too much trouble for somebody to come out and tell the queue that that's the reason?
No, it isn't.
Well, it's just customer service, isn't it?
OK, fair enough. I'll take that on board, and that's where we let you down. Fair enough for that one.
Tuesday, and a torrential downpour causes more problems for an overstretched tube system desperately in need of investment and repairs.
At times. The severe weather warning is valid until 2100 hours today.
Can I just check your ticket there, yeah?
Ticket inspectors Darren Smith and Debbie Soughton are at Green Park to catch fare evaders, but the bad weather's put paid to that.
All right, boss, sorry, mate. This geezer's going Fulham Broadway.
Fulham Broadway.
How is he? Is he all right for that?
He's got a problem because it's suspended too. The Wimbledon line suspended.
There's some problems on the line. There's a couple of stations closed because we've had a torrential downpour, 3 or 4 inches of rain.
And the following stations are closed because of flooding. That's Chalk Farm, Kilburn, Swiss Cottage, Willesden Green and King's Cross. There you go.
And Edgware Road.
Now the circle line suspended.
Services suspended between Edgware Road and Aldgate East.
Can you make a note of that?
people are confused. You know, they have this set route that they've used for like 5 years, and all of a sudden it's like ants, you know. You break that line and it's like, where do we go? What do we do? And that's what you got today, you know. We've broken their line, and so now they're going to have to go another way around it. And that's where we come into it. We're kind of like, we're the queen ants, and we're telling them how to get there.
Not much fun for the people outside, but unfortunately this evening it's the elements that's caused this, not London Underground. So London Underground's not to blame for the weather, is it?
By 5 p.m, the ticket inspectors have abandoned all hope of working the trains.
Everything that's happening on the trains, we won't be doing the trains at the moment.
No.
We'll just have to hang around and support the station. Why have they opened up the gates?
A fire alarm's gone off underneath an escalator. Then moments later, a second alarm goes off.
Right. Yeah, evacuation. We now have to evacuate the station for passenger safety and for the fire brigade to come and investigate. All right?
Could you please slowly leave the station?
Can everybody...
While some staff try and locate the source of the problem, the priority is to get everyone out of the station safely and quickly.
Madam, this way, please leave the station. Thank you.
We're not too sure if it's safe. Basically, 2 call points good. I mean, a fire, a bomb alert.
Can everybody please leave the station?
It's a grade A emergency.
We can go down onto the platform and start moving people up with DSMs. Have they actually closed it?
Yeah.
Have they stopped the trains here now?
Yeah.
They should be, but can you go down on the platform and move people up?
Get to the destination. Can I just ask, if your criteria is passenger safety, why is that escalator going down?
Because we need that escalator to go down.
Have you seen at the bottom of that escalator?
Because the fire, listen, the fire crew.
But if it's a fire, the public wants to get out of the building.
Admittedly, but there are other escalators here. The fire crew need to get down.
One escalator taking thousands of people. If you've got the public's interest at heart, you get them out of the building. You don't stop them, hinder them, by having half the escalators working.
So you need to go up there, outside.
At Victoria Station, Steve's dealing with another emergency. A passenger alarm's gone off on the District Line platform and the train is stuck in the station.
Hang on just 1 second.
Someone was assaulted.
30 to district platforms. Yeah, we've got a police officer, a uniformed police officer on their way down onto the platforms. I think someone's been assaulted on one of those trains. An alarm was activated, one of the emergency alarms, and an undercover police officer has arrested one of the culprits, as it were. Yeah, basically, we've got them coming through now. The police are just coming. Just 1 second, because we've got a difficult situation here. Basically, we've got this person's assaulted one of our customers, and now he's just being removed from the station. What happened was the customer was assaulted and they pulled the emergency alarm.
Sorry, can I go back out?
Yeah, certainly. There we go. There you go. So now it's just a matter of getting back to normality. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask you?
Yes, of course you can.
Why is it on strike?
Why are we going on strike?
Yeah.
Well, we want our pensions to be equalised. There's 2 different pension schemes on this company. There's some people to get privileged facilities on other railways and other people don't get, so we want everyone to have that. And the management have put a pay rise into our pay packets without negotiating it.
But we can't get around.
Well, I do apologise for that. It'll be for 1 day only. And if management take any notice or government intervene, then it won't happen again, ever.
On strike day, the man charged with making the tough decisions will be Operations Response Manager Andy Barr.
We will only run trains when we're certain and sure that the safety of the customers is paramount and that we've been able to determine that the operation of the train service and the station service is safe.
Brian Valentine's boss, Kevin Bootle, has decided to pay a visit. Brian rarely sees eye to eye with management.
Trouble is, people who don't work at the stations keep telling us how to run them. And they're interfering with us. Tell them to come and see us and let us explain the problems to them. No, you've got people in ivory towers who go up the old ladder from university and ain't got a clue what they're talking about.
Green Park is still closed and the staff are trying to locate the cause of the problem. It might be frustrating for the passengers, but staff have to maintain safety.
It's been over 20 minutes, so where's the fire brigade? These guys are supposed to have the best safety systems in the world. The staff don't know what they're doing. They're going to open the station, they're going to close the station. One of them should make a decision. Either you follow procedures or you don't.
There's no trains, all right, on this line at all.
This is a fairly big emergency, yes. As yet, we know nothing to what it could be. It could just be a fault with the fire panel. It could be anything.
A few moments later, word comes through from the station supervisor. It was just a false alarm. Satisfied that there's no fire on the station, the supervisor gives the all clear. Since the report into the King's Cross fire, London Underground err on the side of caution. Safety comes first, and last year there were nearly 100 station evacuations.
As of now, the trains are running again and the Underground's up and working, and Green Park is open for business again.
Green Park might have reopened for today, but it looks like it'll be closed again tomorrow. The tube strike over pay and conditions is due to start in a matter of hours, and there's no sign that it'll be called off.
You wouldn't want to see the nurses go on strike, but would they be justified to going on strike for more pay? I think they would. The firemen are going on strike. Are they justified? I think they are. At the moment, my union cannot negotiate with my management, and this is our last resort. We're going on strike for one day.
Circle line to Baker Street.
Steve's concerns are practical rather than political.
I mean, it is a nightmare travelling around. When I was coming last time in July to work, they were literally fighting to get on the buses. And when the conductor said no more, it's too busy, they were literally calling her names, like names I can't even mention on the tape.
8 o'clock at London Bridge, and the tube strike has officially started. The late shift of striking drivers will not book on for work tonight, so the trains will finish early. Brian's station staff will have problems getting home.
The problem is, of course, if I let you catch the last train, then everybody else wants to catch the last train.
Get rid of as many as we can so they can get home.
Ali can get going shortly. I'm not going to let staff go home if they're going to come in tomorrow when we're on strike. If they're coming in tomorrow when I'm on strike, they're not going home early tonight, they're staying to their time like I've got to do.
Nah, if you're going to let one go, you've got to let
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
So let them go.
Well, all of them?
Yeah.
I'm losing a day's pay tomorrow, and if somebody's coming in here while I'm on strike, then they're going to have to work to their time. That's the way I feel about it.
At 10:30 p.m, the last train is about to leave London Bridge, 2 hours earlier than usual.
The last westbound Jubilant and the eastbound Jubilant has also departed from this station.
Right, 1 minute to this last southbound train. It's the last train tonight. It's 23 minutes past 10, and we are now officially on strike.
It's strike day, the 25th of September 2002, and it's total shutdown on the tube. For the first time in memory, there's no service on any lines across the whole network. With only 14 train drivers out of 600 turning up for work today, London has come to a complete standstill. At London Underground head office in St James's Park, a lot of the staff are out helping at the stations. In the Network Control Centre, management are dealing with the impact of the strike. Operational Response Manager Andy Barr is in charge.
Any plans for late term? Yeah, I know it's early days.
No, we just see what happens. We're so dependent on the individuals actually turning up.
Yeah.
The picketing was very heavy this morning, and you can see the list there.
A lot of pickets.
Yeah.
That's frustrating, isn't it?
Very frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, they're there for the day, aren't they?
Yeah.
They'll be camped up.
Pay disputes are always well supported. It's slightly worse than we were hoping for.
With no service at all, management are left to cope with thousands of disgruntled commuters. Steve Bennett's boss, Brian Farrow, would usually be busy managing Victoria and Warren Street.
An 8 or a 38 from bus 2 or bay 2 or 1 over there.
Nearly 3 hours after Steve's shift should have started, there's still no sign of him. Like the rest of London, he's sitting on a bus in total gridlock.
Lovely. Yeah, he's at Solihull Road, he'll be here shortly. He's had a day already, and he hasn't even started yet.
Brian Farrow is a group station manager on the Victoria line with a team of 140 staff.
Ray, Bill.
Not yet. Who's that, John? Ray?
Yeah. Wait me a minute. Hello, Ray, it's Brian. Any news, mate? Nothing at all, anywhere. And I actually just got my pen out, and that was a waste of time, wasn't it?
Okay. I don't know who they are.
It's 10 o'clock, and there's no let-up in the constant flow of passenger inquiries.
So 100% walk out today, 100% walk out this time, 100% walk out this time, 100% walk out. Yeah, but yeah. Because last time, there were 3 or 4 lines working last time, weren't they? Yeah, there's none working this time. Not at all? No. What's that? Because you've got no drivers. Yeah, idiots, aren't they? Well, no. It's their right, isn't it? Yeah, but I know, but the thing is, what's he going to get him now? It's not going to get him now, was it? No, it's right.
More than 3 hours late, Steve finally arrives for work.
You're booked.
I know, very late, I know.
What time are you meant to be in?
I should have been at 7:30. I've been on that bus for 3 hours.
And I've never, ever had to wait like this. I'm nearly 83 years old, and it's a bit ridiculous. I'm disabled in one leg. I got my daughter over there, and I wonder if I could get a taxi quicker than this. I can't stand. Is there any system?
Do you want to go to the... Let's see what we can do. Come on.
Well, if you could.
Give us your bag, darling.
But I've got another bag here where my daughter...
Brian queue jumps for the passenger.
I'll get shot for this, but all.
Thank you very much. I'm sure there'll be a lot.
Well, it's been terrible, actually. This Lord Mayor, what's his name? Ken Livingstone. He want to stuff this right up his, you know.
At head office, Ken Livingstone is attacking the management over their handling of strike negotiations.
The trade unions were prepared to go to arbitration. It is the management, backed by the government, refusing to go, and the present Labour government is refusing to instruct the management of the Underground to use it.
London Underground say arbitration's already been tried and failed.
I still get very frustrated when I hear people making statements about my personal ability without any knowledge about me. I deal with the day-to-day management of the railway, that's my job. And the political environment is one that I have no wish or require to get into.
It's been a very mixed reaction, and if these strikes do continue to build up over the next few weeks, then I think commuters' attitudes may well harden.
Right, you're going to have to get a bus.
Oh, I don't believe this. Is this you guys on strike? So what are you striking for
We're not
this
on strike.
time?
Sorry, am I on strike? Do I look like I'm on strike?
Sorry, just want to get home. That's
Yeah,
all.
so do I. Well, you're going to be using British Rail tonight to get out to Crouch End, I would imagine.
I can't cope
Yeah, I
with
think that might be your best bet. See, it's beginning to wear a little bit thin now, the old, oh yeah, but you're on strike. So what am I doing standing here? I always, when I'm on strike, I always turn up at work and put on a high guy and stand outside the station. It's one of my hobbies.
London Bridge is shut, and the other Brian, station supervisor Brian Valentine, is at home. The platforms are almost empty. At lunchtime, Brian Farrow gets wind of the fact that management are trying to run a limited Victoria line service between King's Cross and Victoria.
It's not just the fact that there's not enough trains and the crowd control, it's people expecting it to be a full Victoria line service, and we're not, we're just going King's Cross to us. Hello mate, it's Brian Farrow, GSM Victoria. I've heard a bit of a rumour that we might be trying to run a skeleton service. I can't see the point, because we're going to raise people's hopes and then dash them again, and we're going to have confrontation on the gates. Yeah, and I don't want to put my staff in that position.
Andy Barr's heard about staff concerns and has decided to abandon plans for a service.
We had the availability of a number of train operators at Seven Sisters, which were more than the minimum that we needed to run the service. But at this point, halfway through, or 2/3 of the way through a dispute, we have to think carefully what the key issues are. Clearly, Brian Farrow caught wind of that and was concerned, quite rightly, for his staff at Victoria.
I'm off.
Steve hasn't been in that long, but his shift is already over.
How can I get home? Tell me how to get to Leighton.
Go down to Waterloo, get the river bus down to Tower Gateway. Yeah.
So I've got to walk to Westminster Hill, right?
Oh, sorry. I'll carry you if you like.
Right, see you tomorrow. See you later.
Andy Barr is coming to the end of his 12-hour shift. It's not been the best of days.
We got within minutes of running a service on the Victoria line. Within minutes. Unfortunately, we weren't able to run them.
We could have run a train. We could have made a Mickey Mouse measure to prove to everybody that we could run a train. That isn't common sense.
Tomorrow back to normal, 5:15, off we go. Normal service will resume. I just hope it's a good service tomorrow.
The strike cost London's businesses an estimated £60 million. The strikers didn't get their pay increase. But Ken Livingstone has agreed to reopen negotiations when he takes over the running of the tube. Next time, Jeff Marshall tries to get into the Guinness Book of Records.
You just spent half an hour on a train. You think this is bad? You should try doing it for 19 hours.
Will he beat the world record? And at London Bridge, the track repair team have to be called in.
By and large, contractors aren't as much trouble as customers.